Finally, we have some clarity from none other than a guy who signed a humongous contract with Oklahoma City, and it is Paul George. Here's what he went on to say about the Carmelo Anthony experiment. As much as I love playing with Melo and having him alongside us, I understand the decision of both sides. It just didn't work. It didn't work. Here's how numbers do lie.
Numbers lie. Okay.
Paul George's career, okay? About 19 a game, 6 rebounds, 3 assists, about 15 chucks a game. With Carmelo, all the numbers were up.
That's correct.
Up.
That is correct.
So the eye test is different from what we saw, right, with his career, or excuse me, with what he did with Carmelo this past season. Carmelo Anthony, meanwhile, had one of the worst seasons, the worst season of his career, because his career averages are 25, 6 and a hook, about 3 a game, and then his 2017, and there's Paul George, who obviously was very befuddled with what we saw from Carmelo Anthony. So it seems like at least the eye test was different than what we see for their career statistics, correct?
Right, but I think the situation was Carmelo has always been the number one. He was always Beyonce. And then in OKC, he became Michelle Williams. You see what I'm saying? And so I don't think it's so much that it didn't work as much as Carmelo was just not used to being in that position. I don't think it had any effect on Paul George at all. I really don't. I don't think it had any effect.
I think it did a little bit.
You think?
Yeah, because I think it felt like he was transforming into more of a three-point shooter than anything.
Well, I think
he was shooting more threes because of the system that they had where, all right, Melo needed some touches, and then Melo would get frustrated because he'd go, 3-4 minutes without getting a single touch at all. And then Paul George had to space it out a little bit to give Melo room. It just, I agree with Paul George. It just didn't work.
I agree that it didn't work, but I think there's more Russell Westbrook than Carmelo Anthony. I think Carmelo was trying to fit, and it just wasn't working.
I think it's also very easy for us as sports fans and NBA fans to just blame Russ.
I'm not blaming Russ. I'm just saying that
slightly though.
Yeah, I'm just saying Russ is a hard person to play around. Because he dominates the ball. I think he tried. I think at the beginning, they tried. They're like, hey, I'm going to pass, and everybody's going to get the same amount of touches. And they were losing. And then Russ said, well, screw this. I'm going to be Russ. And then they started winning. Now, the problem with that is they can win in the regular season. They can make it to the playoffs. They can't win in the playoffs using that system. So how do you find a middle ground?
Okay, good question. Here's my middle ground. Yeah. You replace, and if we could show this, graphic 22, you could replace Carmelo Anthony, who again, as I stated, 2017, 2018, career worst year. Replace him with somebody that's a younger body, like what's a good example of this?
Someone that doesn't need to score.
Like Jerry Grant was a good signing where they got him for 3 years and $27 million. Not going to command the ball. You have your 2 stars, you have everybody else. Dennis Schroeder is going to be out there, not a great shooter, but can also help out a little bit as maybe, as Paul George put it, one of the best backups.
Yeah, I think they're more balanced now.
Yeah, but they just need a better 3.
Yeah, and they need a better defender. Because, Paul George is a good defender, great defender, I would say. Russell Westbrook, not so much.
Athletically good, I agree with that.
But not doesn't put his whole body into it all the time.
I agree with that. All righty, so let us know your thoughts. Carmelo Anthony, was he the reason, or is it just the system that OKC had?